All right, so we're gonna go over the new maps here. So this is one of the. We're gonna go over the ladder maps that we're gonna see first, and then we'll go over the other new maps. Overall, like I said, I'm actually very, very positive about these maps. So Enlightened Horizon, we'll just do Enlightened Horizon first. Hey, KP, thank you very much for the raid. Greatly appreciated. Hopefully you had a great stream. It is, it is. It is me. I'm just I'm about to go through the maps, and then hopefully I'm going to play some games if I can find anyone. Yeah, so what we're doing right now is we're just starting to look over at the new maps. And we're going to, and I'm going to give my critical opinion of them. Which may or may not surprise people and whether I like or not. Agent Court World Record. I'm going to be honest, I don't get that. Alright. Why? I have way too many tabs open right now. Okay. Alright, let's go over. So Enlightened Horizon is one of the maps is going to be, or one of the ladder maps. So let's go over this one first, because why would we not go over that? Oh, he was. Oh, that's a challenge. Oh, that makes sense. Thank you, Divine Calculator. So this is Enlightened Horizon, which is an interesting map in that the trade post is here. Is this the only trade post on the map? Looks like it. So very interesting. And you're very close to your opponent. Now, I feel like this is either going to be a map that I'm going to surprisingly like, or I'm going to hate this map. I'm not sure yet. It's too early to tell. What I like about it is the uniqueness is that it's very open out here. So when you're going for resources, right, you're going to go for your deer, back gold. You're going to be spreading out this way, which is, you know, kind of going to be interesting to see how it plays out. It has 3 sacred sites. And I just want to say, my first opinion of this map when I looked at it from only the image is it's hard to tell from the little map previews how they're actually going to be. I thought this was going to be a very Delhi favored map, but upon actually seeing this map, I'm not sure that's the case anymore. I actually don't really know if think it's going to. I don't know how it's going to play out, obviously, but this map is interesting. You know, you can easily wall here. You're pretty close to your opponent, so, you know, I feel like this is going to be a short game map. Tower rushes, I feel like, are going to be strong. Imagine playing Mongols on this map. You only have to walk right here, not very far at all, and you could tower my gold. Now, of course, I have a back gold I could go to, but if you have spears, you can be very annoying. Now, you could, like I said, you can easily wall it. Like if I thought I was going to get tower rush, you could just do like a little wall here, and then you can just get this gold for free. But interesting map. I'm not going to veto this, for example. I'm definitely going to play it, and we're going to see how it plays out. But this is a map I'm not sure how I'm actually going to like it or not until I play games on it. But it's a very interesting map, and I think it's a cool little unique one. What's up, Master of Templar? Why would the market exist here? I mean, it's got to be for like extreme situations, I imagine. I mean, I can't imagine a situation where you ever trade on this, but I love it because who knows? Maybe we see a crazy game on this. We're going to see in the new season when everyone can play. How does that map look in team games? I wasn't really going to do team games, or showcase team games, but you know what? Just for you, I will. And then we'll go to the next map. So kind of the same thing. You're very close to your opponents, but you kind of both share. It's almost like Hill and Dale, actually, if you think about it. It's like Hill and Dale, except you're closer to your opponent, and obviously, you know, everything's out here. But in general, looks just like kind of like a Hill and Dale. Like I could see this being a fun team game map, honestly. Because you're not as close to your opponent. You're still really close. Maybe it is as close, actually, as the 1v1 version. All right, so that's the first ladder map. now let's look at... I just went over the patch notes, by the way. It will be on YouTube later. So now let's look at Carmel. I'm assuming that's how you say it. So I just want to say, when you look at this image, when I look at the image of this map, I almost think this map is going to be heavily, like, you're closed in. You're not going to have very, you know, not... It doesn't look like a super open map from this, just because of the trees. Like, a lot of trees, the hills. But I think if I recall, this map's actually pretty open. Yeah, so like I'm already a big fan of this map. Like this map, look how open this map is. I love it. This is just like a person who likes open maps wet dream right here. You know, you have resources back here. You have resources over here. So like there's actually a lot of like food. There's almost 3 full deer packs if you think about it. 2 berries. The sacred sites are in the corners. And obviously there's a boar over here. 2 boars, so each player gets 2 boars as well. So I don't know what, like I can't imagine this being a good, like for example, Delhi map. Because you're not going to be able to take advantage of the boars. Now the deer and the berries are nice, so maybe it is going to be good for Delhi. But then again, only 2 sacred sites. And they're pretty far apart, although this one's like a freebie, I feel like. So... These tree lines look smaller than your old dry Arabias. Yeah, I mean the thing is, like, you definitely have kind of like 3 small wood lines. It looks like. Then you kind of got to move out of your map, and then, like, this almost looks like an unfavored spawn because look at this player. This player gets a nice 3 huge, bigger wood lines right here, whereas this guy gets these 2 small ones, and yeah, kind of seems like a little unfair of a map spawn on this specific one. Like I think it favors red. Just because of the wood and stuff. But anyway, either way, I like it. The relics are spread out in the middle. Looks pretty even. Like, again, this is another map I'm actually very positive about. I think it's going to be a good ladder map, and I'm very excited that we're getting more open maps that don't have something really dumb and stuff. And you even get a close 3 deer pack, actually, to you, which I didn't notice till just now. So you get your sheep, 3 deer pack, and berries. And obviously, I bet every player is going to push these into your town center, and there you go. So again, I actually, so far out of the 2 maps, I think they both look good so far. And now here's going to be a map that might surprise anyone who knows me and my opinion of certain maps. We're going to look at Relic River next. Now, when I first saw this map preview, I said I will never play this map. This map is going to be terrible. Was my first impression. That's literally what I said. You can watch that stream and see that portion of it. Those images really make the maps sometimes look worse than what they are. Like, I actually changed my mind after seeing the map. So this is the map. It's a pretty open map. It has a thin little river, which has like... So that's 6 shoreline fish. Not very many fish. Not really going to be the reason why you win or lose a game. But... And I think it's only in one area. Like, and that's it. There's no more on the map. And I'm okay with that. I'm not against this. I actually think this is nice. I think it's a nice little... I think it's fine. You only have 6 shoreline fish. And overall, the map is very open. Obviously, you can cross the water. You do not need transport ships. You can just run across... all the water can be walked across. So then you got 3 sacred sites. Relics, which are spread across the middle. You can see that you have big gold, big stones kind of going up, you know, on both sides by the sacred sites. And so in general, when I saw this map, when I looked at the map image, I was like, I will never play this map. This will be on my veto list. I'm not going to veto this map. I'm actually going to play it. This looks like a good map. Like, I think this map will actually be good. I don't think it's going to be a map that I'm ever, like, I don't see myself being like, man, I hate this map because blah, blah. I mean, at least I hope, I can't see it, but who knows, you know, it is me. I'm a big map baby. But in general, this map actually looks really good. I think it looks, I think it looks good. I don't know what else to say about it. I like the openness. You know, these are not going to be, I don't think this is going to be a game breaker, you know? Like, I don't think if you don't get the shoreline fish and your opponent does, I don't think you're going to lose because of that. Unless maybe there's some greedy thing that happens. So I'm actually really excited for this. Like, this is a map I actually think will be really fun and good to play on. I really like it, which I can't believe I'm saying, because that map image makes it look terrible. But yeah, so that's Relic River. I don't think the ships can go down the waterfalls. I'm like 90% sure they can't. 99% sure they can't. It'd be funny, actually, if you could make a ship, and it could go down, but if it does, it just explodes. So we are going to go over High View. I know it's not technically a new map, but it pretty much is. And I'll show you why. And this is another map that's being in the map pool. So far we have Carmel, Enlightened Horizon, Relic River. All maps I'm going to at least play once, minimum. But I don't think I'm going to veto any of them, to be honest. And then there's High View. They significantly reduced the stealth force. Like, look at the middle of the map now. There's actually, like, non-stealth force. Look how much stealth force are removed from the map. Like, this looks like a significantly improved map. But wait, that's not all. Trade posts are now in the center of the map instead of on the back of your base. Sacred sites are now all in the center. So there's 3 sacred sites all in the center. So there's no more sacred site in the corner on your side. And they have abandoned outposts, which it looks like it just has 2. I don't know how far the vision goes, and probably something I'm going to test here shortly because I'm curious. To me, this looks like a good map now. You know, High View before, for those who don't remember, was literally all stealth force all around the map. And it was very hard to, it was hard to attack sometimes. It was hard to see. So I think this is a significantly good improvement to High View. And, like, again, when I saw High View was being added to the ranked map pool, I was like, I'm probably going to veto it because I don't want to deal with it. But now, I mean, this looks good. It looks like a good change. It still has its stealth force. So, it's still there, but it's not anywhere near as, what would be a good word for it? Oppressive, I guess I would say. Because a lot of the times on the, in previous patches, High View was a map where the longest games in pro level have been played. There's been a 3-hour and 30-minute game on this map. And the reason why games went on so long is because stealth force was a big reason. Because if your outpost got killed, you couldn't see anything. Your scout was easy to snipe. And those are kind of the only ways to get vision. You needed one of those 2 things. And so if those died, you just didn't have vision, which made it difficult to push. And then there was trade posts in the corner, so that also made it hard to kind of push sometimes. So that's why this map kind of went away. Whereas now, I think this new version is much improved, looks really good, and I think it's just going to be a good map now. I don't think it's like I'm not going to be vetoing it, and I imagine most players are not going to be vetoing it. But who knows? So that's the new High View. Now, Migration is that a new map? Or is that an old map? I mean, it doesn't show up in here, so I'm guessing it's an old map. Anyway, so for the last new ladder map is going to be Migration, which if it's the map I'm thinking of, it's an old map and I'm not going to go over it. I'm just going to look to make sure. Yeah, okay, it's just this map. Yeah, so when did this map get added, by the way? We'll look at it real quick. It is going to be in the map pool. I mean, I'm going to veto it, right? But I just want to look at it real quick. Yeah, that's the game I was talking about, 03, was B versus Zerton. It was like a 3.5-hour game or something on the old version of High View. Yeah, so pretty much it's you grab your villagers, you go to the center, and you fight over it. Again, this is, out of all the maps so far in the new map pool, this is an insta-veto for me. We'll never play it. But if you like water, island-type maps, this is the map for you. Not really much else to go on. I don't know if it's, like, I don't think it's an old map, but I'm not sure. Alright, now we have a bunch of other new maps to go over. Outside of those, which I want to give my opinion on. So here's Flankwoods. From this version of the map, I'm just gonna state before we go over it, I wasn't sure about this map because to me I was like, man, 2 small choke points and 1 center just seems like it'd be a disaster to play on. That's what this kind of gives me the impression of looking at this image. But wait till you actually see the map. This will be a 1v1 map too. And I actually think it'll be a fine 1v1 map. So this is the map. You get all, so the sides are completely covered by stealth force. And this is your opponent's base. You know, so it doesn't feel like a very long rush distance, honestly. There's a market in the middle. So I actually, like I said, I like this because I like this kind of stuff because I think free trade should not be a thing in the game. So you can go to the middle. I mean, it's pretty open. Like, yeah, you can wall here and you can wall here. So it's not really hard to wall those sides. But you also have this side to worry about. And there's entrances to the sides here. Now, you could wall these, right? Not much to wall. But, you know, you could put cavalry through here, come in through the side. Obviously, there's a frontal area. This would actually, if I was Mongols, this would actually be, I feel like well, maybe not. Never mind. I don't know, an outpost here, outpost here. Actually, yeah, if you can get an outpost here and here, you could totally deny this whole wood line pretty much. But anyway, I like this map. If this was in the map pool, in the ranked ladder map pool, I wouldn't veto it, at least not to start off, because it looks like this map has potential to be a good, fun map. Potential. Obviously, we have to see games to know for sure, but again, I was surprised. This map is looks like at least to me looks like it could be a good map. Some parts are easily wallable, but some parts aren't. This is Hedge Maze. This is obviously a meme map. Like, this map will never be in the ranked map pool, I hope. But it is kind of a funny map. I mean, yeah. We'll show it off because it is a new map in the expansion. So you kind of spawn here. There's a pretty much whole bunch of nothing. If you just look at this map right here. Nothing. You each get 2 gold mines. You know, your sheep. There's not even many sheep. There's like 1 sheep. I don't know, maybe the sheep are over here. Yeah, okay, they're just spread over here. But it's like 1 sheep only. So there's really not that much sheep on the map. Which means if this was played in a serious manner, I feel like you try to control this area, I guess. Because, I mean, you have a decently long rush distance. You know, you get a berries, but the berries are pretty far forward. You're not going to have very many sheep. So it feels like if you can, like, starve your opponent in their base, they just die. Like, so if you can control this section of the map pretty much from this stone, and your opponent can't get past, you just win the game, I feel like. Because you can't really quickly chop through. And all the resources are over here, which you can get through. You could send villagers all the way around and access this area. I mean, I almost wonder if the meta on this map, I'm not even kidding, would be send a villager up here ASAP and wall. So you can try to give this to yourself. Like, because if you could just wall here with a villager early on in the game, you could secure this whole center for yourself, and then obviously you could wall here too. It looks fun. I mean, this looks like an interesting map. It does to me look like a meme map. And I mean, I wouldn't mind watching some pros play this because it would be kind of interesting to see how it plays out. But for me, I would hate to play this map, I think. I think it would frustrate me a lot because I mean, I don't know what civs I think would be favored here. I think aggressive civs would be. No, in teams they wouldn't be. 100%, everyone spawns in this area. Team games are not. You wouldn't be separated by wood. I don't want the old chop through back, to be honest. I actually didn't like it. But yeah, so that's my impression of this map. It's honestly not as bad as I initially thought it was going to be. But in general, I also think, like, I wouldn't want to play this map. But I wouldn't mind watching some pros play this map because I think it could be fun to watch players play it and see what they do. But for me, yeah, this map would not my kind of map to want to play. But who knows? Then we got High Woods, which again, when now I did say this early on, I was like, this map doesn't look like it'd be too bad, but I also was worried, you know, it's hard to tell, right? You just can't really tell how this map's going to actually be from the image. I almost think they should just do in-map images, but then again, maybe not. I don't know. It's just I feel like the images just don't do it justice. I mean, it looks kind of wild. You look at the mini map and you just see a bunch of stuff. So you have a lot of trees, small tree lines, like so they're not very big, right? I mean, your town center doesn't even cover the tree line. I mean, maybe it covers this tree, but like so if you got tower rushed as Mongols could do, like Mongols' game plan here would be to deny your wood line, I think. If they could tower rush like here, you deny this wood line. This wood line, I mean, like, you could be denied wood by a tower rush with spears, obviously. I mean, those are just things that come to my mind immediately. Who knows how it would actually play out? We'd have to see, you know, how people actually played out. But, you know, it's like, it's a semi-open map. I say semi because there are actually a lot of choke points because of all the forests. So, like, I actually don't know if I really like this map because of all the wood. I'm also not a big fan of the sacred site spawns because look at this. Back sacred site for this player, like it's literally in his base. And then the other one's over here, so it's like kind of a weird spawn. Also, back trade, which I'm not a fan of at all. And I feel like this map would be a pretty good trade map because of how, I mean, I guess it wouldn't be... Yeah, no, I feel like it would be good because look at the rush distance. You'd have to go all the way this way to like kind of counteract it. So like I'm not... From the image, I thought the map actually looked better than it does right now. I actually don't really like the way this map is designed. I think there's too much wood. That just makes too many choke points. Easy to wall your trade as stated. Like I don't like this map really. I don't think. Like the more I look at it and think about it, I couldn't see myself playing this map. I think I would veto this map ASAP because I just feel like this map would cause a lot of frustration. Like, yeah, exactly. Everyone gets a sacred site and a trade route, and the middle is choked up. Like, yeah, this could be a map I could see easily that could last. You could get long games on. So for me, this is out of the new maps so far. Ironically enough, this is the worst map I think. Out of the new maps that we've looked at so far. I mean, I'm trying to think of any others, but the ones we've gone through, I think this is by far the worst. Which actually surprised me because I actually thought it was going to be a little bit better than it was. Mountain Lakes is a new map, and I can already tell you, I already said this before that I wouldn't like this map, and seeing the map design actually only confirmed my belief. So you get a lot of food. You get 2 deer packs in your base, which is kind of crazy. Then there's deep sea. So this is a water map. Like this is a true hybrid map. You have to go for water, right? So you're going to be going for water, and you know, it looks like there's 4 ponds, each with deep sea fish. So if you're a big fan of this kind of map, you will. Well, there is an actual 4 lakes map in AOE4 though. This is like 4 ponds. But yeah, if you like this kind of map, this is a map you'll like. Me, not a big fan. I mean, you get a lot of food in your base. Honestly, the center is kind of choky because there's these cliffs, trees. So I feel like, I mean, look at now. This is probably just a bad spawn generation, but look at this player's base. He's pretty much walled off. Like you can get through here and here, but nope, you can't get through here. But he's pretty much walled off on the front here. So, oh, and you get a big gold and a big stone in your base. Definitely not a map you'll ever see me play. Well, I shouldn't say never, because if someone was like, hey, here's X amount of, here's some money to go play this map, fine. You'd have to bribe me to play this map. That's the only way you could get me playing that map willingly. That's Mountain Lakes. We already went over Relic River. Now let's go over Rugged. I actually can't remember what this map looks like, but from this image, when I look at this map, I think this map's going to be very choky, and it's going to be very a very turtley type map. Is my first impression from looking at the image of this, because these are all cliffs. I imagine you spawn here, but like I actually legitimately can't remember what this map actually looks like. I've hated every single pond map so far. Yeah, so have I. So do I. Oh yeah, okay, now I remember this when I looked at this earlier today. This map is even worse than the image actually suggests. That's right. This actually, let me give my opinion. This map is actually worse than the map image. This is a choky map with, is it pronounced rugged like your chin? Hey, hey. So you, like it has cliffs, mountains, whatever you want to call it, everywhere. Just look how choky this map is. I mean, this is just going through the center. We're just going to go through the center very slowly. I mean, just look at how choky it is. You literally can't even go past a lot of these areas. Imagine navigating your army through the center. And by the way, when I looked at it earlier, it spawned very similar to this. Like, imagine moving Siege through the center of this map. I don't even know if Siege can fit through this small thing. I'm sure it can fit through here, though. But I don't think it could fit through here. Or here. So, like, this map is like a... This is a long map. Like, this is a long game map. I think if players were to play on this map, I bet game length on this map is going to be crazy long. I can't imagine this map ever being a 1v in the 1v1 map pool, but if it was, I would veto this so fast. I actually, and I can't believe I'm saying this, I think I would rather play that last map, Mountain Lakes, than this map. Because I think the chokes, how many small chokes there are, would drive me insane. And, like, look at this. This is walled, pretty much. This is walled this section off, so you can't go through here. If AOE4 had unbuildable terrain, this could be fine. I really wish AOE4 would add unbuildable terrain. I think you could make so many interesting maps with unbuildable terrain. Hopefully in the next DLC. I've been saying that, though, since, like, they first announced the map editor. But, yeah. So this is Rugged. Rugs you out. Definitely, not a map I'm a big fan of. Alright. I'm not going to go over Shadow... I guess I said I'd go over all the new maps. Okay, we'll go over Shadow Lake. I don't like this map. Insta veto whenever I see it in the map pool. It's like Baltic, except it's not Baltic. Again, anyone who's watched me knows I really do not like water maps. So you get a sacred site in the center, a lot of deep sea fish, opponents on the other side. Whoever wins water wins the game. All right, went over the map. I did go over the map. I said I'd go over every new map. Not a fan. 0 out of 0. 5 relics. Never gonna play it. Honest streamer. True, true. That's Shadow Lake. All right. Then we have Sunken Lands. Ah, oh, nose is so itchy for some reason. All right. And so this map, double thumbs up. Well, there's 12 new maps, Andy. I like this map already. Very open. I'm a huge fan of open maps. If you couldn't tell by this video alone, but if you've watched me play at all, you also know I'm a big fan of open maps. You do get 2 kind of safe deer, but you can harass with with horsemen and stuff. But I guess you could also just wall, and then you get safe deer. Actually, this is kind of an unbalanced map spawn. And I say that because for yellow, you could wall very easily, and you get your 2 free deer packs and berries for free, whereas this player, me, or not me, the opponent, HRE, I mean, I guess it's not that bad. You just wall here to here, but it's a lot more walls. Either way, and then in the corners, there's 2 berries, a boar, more deer on both corners, and there's 2 sacred sites. I think this is a good map, though. I really do. I think this is a fun map. I like how things are, you know, and look, this has the gold veins of 1600. The only thing is, the only complaint I would have is I think gold should be a little closer to your base. That feels very, very far. Like, that's actually insane how far that gold is. But other than that, this is a double thumbs up for me. I think this map was a great map for tournaments. It's an aggressive map. I'm a big fan of aggressive maps. And you get rewarded for map control, I think. Because, again, if you can control, let's say... I mean, this probably would be a very good, like, French map, maybe. But maybe not because of how easily you can wall some ways. But cavalry will probably obviously be a very popular choice in this map. Overall, though, big fan of the map. Double thumbs up. And now we've got... I hate I have to do that every time. Have we gone over... No, we haven't gone over Wastelands. So Wastelands... I thought this was going to be like... this looks to me like it would be mountain clearing with 2 sacred sites. That's what it looks like from the map preview. This is not mountain clearing with 2 sacred sites. You actually spawn decently far away. And I'm going to say it. I'm going to say it, guys. I like this map. From initial impressions. Obviously, you start with a... Well, this player got screwed. Okay, they need to work on the map generation a little bit. This player doesn't get gold or stone. Look at it. No... So, okay, I don't like that part of it. They definitely need to fix that. Because this player would just have to leave the game. Which would be me if I was playing this right now. But, I don't mind the big gold. Obviously, stone is fine. But it's actually an open map. I mean, you literally have a big wide center. 2 sacred sites, which I'm fine with. I actually like that there's a lot of boars. This could really, you know, benefit players who have map control because you can go for all the boars. There's small berry packs which don't really matter. It looks like every food source has 2 like small berries and then like a food source like deer. And there's actually a lot of deer packs if you look. There's like 1, 2, 3, 4. I mean, there's like 9 deer packs on this map. Overall, this is a map that on first impressions, I think it could be a good map. Maybe after playing it or seeing games played, I'd be like, nope, this map sucks. But overall, I think there's more than 5. There's more than 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Small one, 8. Oh, 5 deers per pack. Oh, okay. Well, we just counted out. There's 8 deers with 5 per pack, and then a couple 3-liners. But I like the concept of this map because I think, again, map control I think would be beneficial because you get 4 boars. What are my thoughts on Abbasid on this next patch? I imagine they're going to be a lot more viable than they are now, and they might even be an A or S. I don't know about S tier, but they may be an A tier civ again. With the changes being done. Like with Pro Scouts being gone, I would not be surprised if Abbasid goes back to being a top tier civ again. But yeah, so I like this map. I really do. I think it's a cool concept. Maybe it's a bad map. Either way, I would at least try it out if it ever went to the map pool. And I think we're almost done with the maps. I don't think there's too many more. I feel like we've gone through a lot. I wasn't going to go over this map, but I will. I'm going to show it off in team games because it's on the team ladder map pool, so we'll show the team game version of this. But you're each separated in a water lane, so you have to use transports to get across. It's the same in 1 versus 1. For me, I'm not a fan of the map, as I'm sure you're surprised. And so in team games, it's the same as 1 versus 1. If this was a 1v1, one player would be here, one player would be here. And so to get across, you have to make transport ships and go to your opponent's side of the map. Not much else to really talk about. You know, there's 2 big gold mines. Each player gets 3 relics. No, yeah, 3 relics on each side. Sacred set on each side. Looks like they're mirrored. Looks like the maps are mirrored, so everyone gets the same kind of stuff. Not my kind of map, but yeah. So that's the map that's gonna be in the map pool. Actually, I will check. Is this my ally? Oh, okay. So as a note, I take it back. I was a little bit wrong. So it's a 1v1 on a it's a 1v1 in team games. Is essentially what this is, which actually makes this a little more interesting. For team games, maybe this actually isn't as bad. Okay, now I want to look at it the 1v1 version. I actually now want to see it on the 1v1 version now. Maybe I'm wrong. But I'm assuming that you both don't spawn on the same side. Well, I actually don't think it would play like that, 69, because you can transport ship really easily to help your ally. Oh, okay, this is a little different than I thought, actually. So I guess it is a good thing I looked at this map. So you do share the same lane, but to get to the other lane, you have to make transport ships. So this is a little different than I thought. I mean, this actually does change my opinion of the map a little bit. I actually don't dislike it as much as I did 2 seconds ago. So which is why you should always check out a map before you judge. Because I mean, it is interesting. It almost reminds me of Avely's map. I can't remember what it's called, but you know, it can be very aggressive. I mean, it feels like you're gonna be very aggressive. There's a lot of resources. You each get a wood line, obviously gold. You only get 1 gold mine actually, though. Then you have to go into the side map. I mean, I'll be honest, for me, I still think I would probably veto this map. But I think this map isn't as bad as I initially thought. I thought each player was going to get their own lane, and then you have to transport to fight. This map actually looks a little interesting. But I do think I would veto it if I was to have to play it. Not a lot of wood? I disagree. That's a lot of wood. I would bet this map you're never going to go throughout all the wood before the game's over. Essentially, this is how this map would play out, in my opinion. If you could control both sides, you just win because your opponent can't get gold. GG. Which I think would be difficult to do, because you have to make a dock on both sides. By the way, I love how the AI made a fishing boat. Red has markets on their side and purple doesn't. There's 2 markets here. And then red has his over here. I don't think that would pose a problem because yeah, there's no fish. No fish at all. To trade, you have to go from this side to this side anyway. Like I said, this map isn't as bad. Like before seeing this map, I gave it a 0 out of 10. I'd give it probably a 5 or 6 out of 10 seeing it now. Like I could see myself maybe trying it, but I wouldn't be surprised if I vetoed it though either. But in a tournament, I wouldn't mind seeing this game. Like I wouldn't mind watching this game. Players play on it. Like for example, on water maps in tournaments, I kind of snooze and wait till the next game to start paying attention again. But on this map, I actually would be interested. I don't think so. Okay, so that was Waterlands. African Waters is old. Cliffside is old. I think we've gone through all the maps. Yep, those are all the maps. So I'm going to be honest. What are my overall thoughts of the new maps? Which, by the way, I feel like this isn't showing all of them, though. You know, from the map previews, I think I said there were 2 maps that I thought were going to be good. I think it was Highwoods, which turns out not to be a map I think is good. I think it's a bad map. And I think the other one was Enlightened Horizon. I think that one was one I said was going to be good. And I think Sunken Lands, maybe. Can't remember. Enlightened Horizon, I know I said I thought had potential, and I think I said Sunken. I can't remember what the other map was. That's the problem. Oh, maybe if I look at here, I can look better, actually. Yeah, Enlightened Horizon. I think I said Flankwoods, maybe, and Highwood. I think those are the 3 maps I said looked like they could be decent, and I said all the rest were shit. I think that's literally what I said when I looked at them. I can definitely say, from the map previews alone, I was very off. I think this is it. Well, this wasn't on the last earlier when they teased the maps. This wasn't there, so I can't count this. This looks like a good map. This looks like it could be a good map. This map isn't as bad as I thought it was, but Highwoods, not a good map. Relic River, I thought was going to be a trash map. It actually looks like a good map. Rugged is a terrible map. Sunken Lands, which actually I don't remember if that was on there either. Wasteland, though, I thought this was just going to be like Mountain Clearing, but with 2 sacred sites. But I actually think this map has potential. And Waterlands, I actually don't think it's as bad as it looks either. In general, I think out of all the new maps, I think they added a lot of good, viable maps for the map pool, for the ranked ladder. That I hope we see a few of them. Like, I hope we see, like Relic River is in the next map pool. I think it's gonna be. I'm not gonna veto it. I think it's a good map. Enlightened Horizon and Karma, like the 3 new maps that they're adding to the map pool. I think next map pool is the best map pool we've ever had in Age of Empires 4. Saying it now.